Conference, we now move on to the emergency motions. The next we will take is emergency motion on the Grenfell Tower to be moved by the FBU.
Chair, Conference, Wrack Fire Brigade Union. The FBU has brought this motion to conference because there were some developments around the Grenfell Tower fire last week which we believe the party needs to take up and act on. On the 19th of September we learned in the newspapers that residents from the Grenfell Tower area who had been evacuated were being told to return to their former homes or lose their council tenancies. Around 80 residents were evacuated from blocks in the vicinity of the tower and have been in temporary accommodation since. And they have received letters from the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea saying that they are expected to make a decision on returning to their former homes by the end of September or risk losing their tenancies. They say that the letters state that the tenancies will be terminated or they will have to pay higher rents if they stay in their current accommodation. Conference, what a disgusting and appalling way to treat a traumatised community. And the Labour Party has to stand on the side of this community to provide a voice for its views and its concerns. And we in the Fire Brigade Union are well aware of the feeling locally. We've worked since the fire to engage with local people, to campaign with them and work together with them. Last Monday we held a successful meeting in the local community centre where we briefed them on fire safety issues, the role of the fire service and the role of our members in the fire and subsequently. We work closely with the local MP, Labour MP Emma Dent-Coed, who's worked exceptionally hard to support the local community. We work with the lawyers for the bereaved survivors and relatives. We work with the campaigning group Justice for Grenfell. And we agree with Emma that this deadline is creating a climate of fear, it is inhumane, and it is hindering the ability of deeply traumatised people to make important decisions about their futures. Conference, our party nationally needs to stand side by side with all those affected by the Grenfell Tower horror. This, as we've said time and again, this was not an act of God. This was a fire, a tragedy, an appalling horror which could have been avoided. And that is the heart of this debate. We've pulled those facts together in a publication which you can get from our stall, and we call it quite pointedly the background to an atrocity. It sets out the deregulation agenda, the privatisation agenda that has provided the background to what happened at Grenfell. We have to loudly condemn the Borough of Kensington and Chelsea's Tory Council for issuing ultimatums to people who live in that housing. We have to demand that the Council withdraws those letters immediately. We also want to raise some wider issues in relation to Grenfell which has relevance to us all. We saw, and it's obvious now, the role, and John mentioned it earlier, the role that flammable cladding had in turning a domestic fire, and a sort of incident that happens every day in this country, and the fire service goes and puts them out, but in this case turning a domestic fire into a national tragedy and a national embarrassment. 15 months on from the fire, it is a disgrace that we have hundreds of buildings clad in exactly the same type of flammable material. New information from the Communities and Local Government Ministry reports this month that there are still 468 high-rise buildings with ACM cladding systems in place. The government is consulting on what should be done about this cladding. You don't need to consult, you just need to take a decision to remove it. We need to be the voice who want to see something done about this. This is an urgent matter. Government needs to act. Government needs to be held to account. Comrades, it's 15 months on. And talking to people in that community, they are appalled. There's been no arrests. People still live in temporary accommodation. Nothing serious has been done to address the issues raised by that fire, and we have flammable cladding on 400+ buildings. Let's not allow the passage of time to diminish the significance and the importance of this, which was indeed a crime against that community. So we say justice for Grenfell, decent, safe homes for everyone. I move.